So what are those things that frustrate the heart of God? What are these things that frustrate the heart of God? I spoke about some of this in the morning, but now let me speak more about this. Matthew, if you look into Matthew, I'm going to give you many points, some points, okay? If you look into Matthew chapter 6 verse 30, Matthew chapter 6 verse 30, Matthew 6:30. Matthew 6:30 says, now if God so clothes the grass of the field, if God clothes the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more so clothe you? Then he finishes that verse by saying, you guys, would I clothe you? You are human beings. You are my image. You are my likeness. You are my sons and daughters. You are my replica. You are my representative on the earth. If I would take care of birds that are nothing, of grass that are basically nothing, if I would take care of grass, I mean, you walk on grass, you walk on them, you step on them, you uproot the weed and the grass from your field every day. Birds, you shoot them down. You keep them in cages. You do whatever you want with grass. And you do whatever you want with flowers. You do whatever you want with birds. So if I would, despite that, take care of these things. Can you feel the frustration? Can you feel that frustration? Can you feel that frustration? If I would do that to all these people, if I would do that to all these things, all these things, if I would take care of flowers, grass, all these things, if I would go all the way, if I would go that distance to take care of grass, flowers, if I would go all the way to pay the price to take care of grass and flowers and birds, what do you think? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Then he finishes that statement by saying, how much more? Think about it. Think about it. How much more? How much more? How much more will I take care of you? And then he says, with such a frustration. Can you sense? Listen, I want you to listen closely to the last thing that he says in that particular passage. What God said what Jesus said in that particular passage, and where the frustration is hidden. How much more? Then he couldn't hold back his frustration anymore. He couldn't hold back his, will I say anger? Maybe anger. He couldn't hold back his anger anymore. He couldn't hold back his emotions, his disappointment, his disillusionment, his exasperation. He couldn't just hold it back anymore. And he just vexed it out. And he said, how much more will I clothe you, O you of little faith? You are not believing me. You are not trusting me. You are not believing me. You are not trusting me. You are not trusting me. You don't want to believe your Father. You don't know me. You don't have a relationship with me. You don't trust me. What will it take you? What does it take you to just believe? It doesn't cost you money. You don't need to pay for it. Trust me. Trust me. Just trust me. Just trust me. Just trust me. Now listen closely. When we are more concerned for bread and butter, when we are more concerned about survival, 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 then putting him as the priority, his wishes, his concerns, his purpose, his goal, his aspiration, his desire. When we put survival, the need to survive, the need to make a living, I must pay my bills, I must do that, I must do this, I must survive, I must make a living. When we put that above the need to please him, to do his will, to do his will and put that as priority, God just says, I don't care. I don't even want to waste my time on you guys. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Now, this is not saying that, okay, I quit my job, I quit everything, I leave everything behind, I'm not going to do anything anymore, I'm just going to stay in church. That's what we have been taught, that's what we've done. But this is not saying you quit your job, don't do anything, but this is saying put the priority of your life, God's priority. If his priority for you is to carry out a mission here on the earth, if he has a purpose for you, which he does, if he has some calling on your life, which he does, work, but why don't you walk around that? Work, why don't you put that above your work? Why don't you put your survival instinct second? Why don't you, reduce your hours at work maybe and put a tangible amount of time to fulfilling purpose, to adding value, to producing your product, to bringing solution to your world and to the things that you are, to being, dedicating yourself to pursuing actually the kingdom first. And that's the only thing he asks for. Seek ye first the kingdom. Seek ye first the kingdom. That's the only thing. Just seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness. Once you put that, anything that places the heart of God, his desire, why he created you to the earth, is that you will do what he created you for. Why don't you put that first? Love for him, walk with him, so that you could hear his voice, you could be led by his spirit, you could follow his leading. Why don't you put that first? When you put that first, the desire to please him, to listen to him, spend time with him, the desire to discover him, solitude, just being with him, getting more, to learn more about him, get all the tapes, get all the CDs, learn as much as you could, put him first, and then reduce the time you are spending on survival. Reduce the pressure, rather be under his leading than being under the pressure of the world. If you will put yourself more to be more dependent on his pressure, on pressure to live for him, on his leading, under his leading, under his supervision, under his obedience, total obedience to him, that puts you in a better standing than putting yourself more under the pressure of survival. Because once you come under that pressure of survival, once you are being driven, then you lose the ability to be a son of God. Because the people, as sons of God, must be led by the Spirit of God. That must be the priority. Their priority in life is not what my job will say, what my boss will say, what my leaders will say, what my company will say, what my pastor will say, what my church will say. No. Their priority is, I know God. I walk with God. He's my friend. I listen to him. I please him first of all and above all. If that will be your priority, if that will be the first thing first in your life, That is then you escape from the pressure of the world, from the pressure that makes you to be totally deaf and dumb. Because the pressure of survival is one of the greatest prison, the greatest slavery, the greatest bondage in life. When you begin to come under that pressure to survive, that pressure of survival, when you begin to come under that pressure, it's horrible. You can't hear God anymore. You can't be led by him anymore. You can't find time to do what he wants you to do. You can't put him as priority, that you want to seek him first. You want to go just take a week out and just be with him and just bask in his presence and just learn more about him. You cannot even find time to go and invest yourself in whatever he's called you to do. You will not find time to go and invest yourself in cultivating yourself, your field, your land of promise, and to develop your own products and all that. You will not have time because your priority will be just vanity, triviality will be your pursuit. You are just under pressure all the time. Why don't you just stay and say, okay, make a covenant with God. Give him your word that I'm setting myself free from all this pressure. I'm setting myself free from this pressure, oh Lord. I am setting myself free. Help me, Lord. Because how could you say you really believe in me? Well, that's basically what God is saying. How could you say you believe in me? And survival instinct is your preoccupation. From morning till night, your preoccupation is survival. From morning to night, you are only pursuing what to eat, drink, and where to live. From morning to night, you don't even care what I care for. You don't even care for you don't even care for my passion. My passion doesn't exist for you. My passion doesn't mean anything to you. My concerns don't mean anything to you. It's just about you and how to survive in this dirty world. And the thing is, Satan and the world system that is captivating you, that is, luring you away from him, they don't tell you the truth, that you will not be here forever. The world system does not tell you that this whole thing will be lost. This whole thing will burn. It will burn down. This whole world will burn down. This whole world will go to hell. It doesn't tell you that you don't keep this world forever. It doesn't tell you that soon, only 70 years. How many years left for you to live? Not too much. And it doesn't tell you that the eternity is going to be before him. And you're going to be answering to him in eternity. So if that is the main thing that really matters in life, why don't you just stop? Why don't you tell yourself? Why don't you just promise yourself? Why don't you just speak to yourself and tell yourself the truth? Say, God, from now on, that's what I had to do in my own life. That's what I had to do. I came to a point that I said, out of 4 weeks in a month, I want to give you 1 week. And I will just be with you alone. And even when things are so tight, at least I will give him three days a week. When I'm just studying, listening, growing, and just developing myself, adding value to myself, discovering God, discovering what I could do for him, how I could please him better, and all that. And every day, I must give 10% of the day to growing, to being within his presence, just like you are doing now. So 2 hours a day, growing, discovering God, learning how to please him better, learning how to grow with him, and all that. So that is that is the very first thing that breaks the heart of God. That frustrates his heart. Don't put survival above God. Don't put the need to survive and make a living. Don't put the need to make a living above him, the need for him. Don't put those things above intimacy with my Father. Don't put those things above intimacy with my Father. Don't elevate those things above intimacy with my Father. Don't, please, don't. Don't. Put them where they belong. And let the love of the Father, the relationship with the Father, be paramount. Let it supersede every other thing in your life. Let it supersede every other thing. Set yourself from the pressure of survival instinct and of trying to make a living. Basically, what Jesus is saying in that place, Matthew 6:30, is if your life is all about job, salary, survival, bills, if that is what your life is all about all the time, how can you then say you believe in me when you can't even trust me to meet your needs? How can you say you know me, or you trust me, or you believe in me? You're just laughing at God. You're just mocking him. You're really just mocking him. You're really just mocking him, really. So you are telling me, I trust you, you're my God, you're my Savior, but then I don't believe you. I'm not sure that you could provide my needs. I'm not sure. I can't trust you to provide my needs. So I've got to survive. Must make a living. So, I don't know, but I believe in you. I know you are good. I don't know you are kind. I know you are a father. I know you care. Well, I don't know if you care for me. You are embarrassing God. You are embarrassing God. You are embarrassing God. And that's why Jesus just held his head, like I could imagine, I could see him holding his head like this and saying, "Oh, ye of little faith, oh, ye of little, why are you embarrassing me? Why are you shaming me before my Father? Oh, you of little faith." Anytime Jesus says that, "Oh, you of little faith," it's just, what a frustration. What a frustration. Please reverse that tendency. Stop putting survival before my master. Hello everybody, DSA here. I would like us to spread this word together. Let the gospel of the kingdom conquer the world. We only need you to help us take 5 simple steps. What are these steps? 1, go ahead and like the video, please, if you have not yet done that. Number 2, we need you to subscribe to this channel. Have you yet subscribed? You not yet done it? Go do it now. Number 3, you need to press and click on that bell. You see the bell there? That will give you notification of every video that we do. Then the next thing you need to do, write your comments. Let's know what you think, good or bad. And then of course you have other platforms like Instagram, like Facebook. Share this video on your other platforms. All right? Let's win the world for Christ.